this is Joseph from Humble You Media, and I wanted to get another video going, a new idea going. You see the Jung series, I have all the animations and everything's well put together, but I wanted something a little bit more rough in a sense, a little bit more raw. But just a straight teaching from the heart, and we'll see where things go. Now, I have a few objects with me, one being this shell, which we'll start with. Also, we have the black book behind me on the piano. That's Black Book 7, and then behind that, they're the full black books. So we'll get into the black books and what that means, and then specifically number 7, I want to read something to you. I feel like it speaks to all of us. But first, the shell. So I found this shell on the beach, and I want you to take a look at it and really notice its form and shape. Now you take a look at it, it is absolutely beautiful how this was able to become this shape from its beginning to this moment in my hand. And you notice it has a specific shape to it. It has a structure. It has an order. It has an intelligence that it was following while it was becoming to this state. And even though it's a lifeless object, there's something beautiful about this that we could find in ourselves. That same intelligence that allows us to become our truest self is already there. It's already here. Now, the thing about humans compared to this shell is we have an ego. We have our own will that can distort things, that can trail us off our path, that could be judgmental and fearful. The shell doesn't have an ego. It has its own intelligence that it followed throughout its life and became. And that's the dilemma with humans. In our ego, especially in this material world, it's so easy to lose ourselves, to lose that intelligence, and to become something else instead of our true self. And that's what I love about Carl Jung. He's a psychologist who went into himself. He wasn't trying to be the smartest. He wasn't trying to look the best. He was just trying to find truth. And in those books, his journals of his unconscious journey, there are sparks of truth for anyone that truly does their work, their own inner work, to allow that intelligence to start speaking, to show itself. It's a paradigm shift that our society is longing for. So let me grab this book. This is Black Book 7. And there's one part in it that I think speaks to us all. In this sense of inner work, in that poverty that we feel in the suffering of the world, Jung provides a nice teaching. Or you could say, his logos, his intelligence, his higher being, his higher teacher, Philemon, provides us a teaching. To man, to woman, to humanity, about poverty. So in this section, Philemon, again that higher logos, that teacher, that inner teacher of Jung, is speaking about the highest good, the God of the highest good. It's PHANES. And he's saying how he's the greatest of man. It's his worth and his force. And then his soul answers, Cherished One, have mercy on us. And what of man? So his soul's wondering, what of man? Philemon says, man is never his best. Therefore I say unto men, and here's the teaching. Be blessed in your poverty. Be gentle, meek, and merciful. Bear vilification and persecution, since a light shines before you that will not leave you in darkness. If you are angry, do not say, we are not angry, but be mindful of your poverty and reconcile yourself quickly. Be no one's enemy, otherwise you will set yourself against yourself. But your poverty is too great that it could be at odds with yourself. Do not say, "We love our enemy." This lie would be an extravagance in view of your poverty. Leave your enemy alone, so that his hostility may devour itself. Do not wish to be perfect like the gods, but attend to your poverty and nakedness, so that the imperfect and weak in you does not completely perish. Your perfection would be obnoxious and an unfair burden for your neighbor. Consider bearing your poverty yourself, rather than burdening your neighbor with the shame of your perfection. Do not forget to give alms to your poverty. But when you pray, do not beg the gods, but wish that the glory of God perfects itself, that his law which is laid up in you fulfills itself, and that you are able to bear your poverty in modesty, so that the light that illuminates the darkness of your path may stream brighter. Wish when you pray that what is necessary will be fulfilled, not what you take to be necessary, but what is inherently unavoidable. Your poverty does not bear wishing for more. No one can serve a master, but each serves himself, since he needs help for the sake of his poverty. The rich need no help. Therefore, I say unto you, care for your life, what you eat and drink, and also for your body and what you put on. Isn't the dish as important as life? And doesn't your body also need clothing? Shouldn't your body also be healthy and your life secured, so that you do not become a burden to your brothers? Aren't they also as poor as you? Look at the birds of the sky. Don't they carry plumage for their protection? Don't they build warm nests? Don't they seek their nourishment with luck and hard work? Have you ever seen a raven feed others? Therefore, serve your body, the patient servant, so that it remains healthy. Help your soul, the arrogant diamond, so that all false godliness and higher humanity falls from her, so that you may look at God. Nothing will come to you that you have not earned with honest effort. Do penance for any unearned gift that heaven has sent you, so that you don't contaminate yourself with godliness. Take thought for the morrow, since tomorrow will have enough plagues. You hypocrites, first pull the beam out of your eye and wait till your brother asks you to free him from the splinter in his eye. If, however, your brother loves the splinter in his eye, why should you get mixed up with it? You should certainly not give that which is holy unto dogs, nor cast pearls before swine. But are then your brothers and sisters dogs and swine? Ask, but do not lay on. Knock, but don't be pushy. It is not certain whether you will be received, since your brothers are poor, and you should not provoke them to extravagance. But stinginess consumes itself, and the inheritance does not pass to you. Go the way of your inner law, while observing the outer law of love. This middle way is sometimes narrow and sometimes wide. He who does not go on this way has damnation in his heart. You may recognize the fertile by their fruits, but thank the infertile for having spared the world a monstrosity. He who fulfills the law of inner necessity has the kingdom of the heavens in his heart, since he experienced the day of happiness. Do not act out of disunity with yourself, but from the fulfillment of your poverty. But after that Philemon stooped and touched the earth with his hands and asked it for forgiveness, since he has uttered a teaching. Then he walked back into the hall to a pool of water and purified himself from the presumption of teaching. He exchanged his white cloak for a brown coat and walked across the bridge to the land of men. He entered there into a wayside chapel. A crucifix hung above the altar. Philemon bowed and said to him, "My brother, forgive me my error. I have sinned against your word. I taught otherwise than you have. But if I err in this way, teach me to recognize the truth." But the crucified remained silent. since he had completed and sealed his truth with his death, and in such a way left room for the truth of his brother. Then Philemon kissed his brother's rigid hand, crying, and turned back to the place of his teaching. So whether it takes this teaching, whether it takes this image, or whether it takes something else, the light is there. The path is set. And all it takes is for you to walk it. So with that, much love, and as always, stay humble.